Hi everyone, we're Connections. We would like to introduce Curios first. Curios are a place where we just meet and sort of gossip about everything we found out while we were apart. And so this is one of the last times we see each other before we don't for like a couple of months.
Yeah, so we're trying to film a bunch of content all together so we can edit it over the time we're apart and post it bit by bit. So that's what you'll be seeing. All of the videos were probably recorded over the course of about a month.
We first thought to call it Bagatelles and Curios because the word Bagatelles, it has a nice ring to it, right?
Yeah.
But then we decided that it's going to be too long of a title for a YouTube video, so now it's just Curios. But I might still refer to it as Bagatelles because it's a cool word.
We'll decide the final.
If we ever publish a research video, because those are extremely hard to do. Apparently, we tried one and it's now hidden as private on our channel.
It was so bad.
That was just 8 minutes of stand-up about Tumblr. If anyone's interested, let us know, we'll DM.
For reference, we talked for 3 hours, and out of that we got 8 minutes. It's
and
diabolical.
It was the most boring video ever. And it was sped up, to be fair. It was sped up. And we weren't talking slowly. We were like rapping it all out, rapping the facts and statistics we read online.
We were talking really fast. Okay.
On this note, I think we should go to the first take. Curiosity, gossip, whatever. Third places. Probably everyone has heard about third places by now.
Yeah.
If you haven't, we still thought we should discuss because we actually do not know each other's opinions about the topic, and I have stuff to say about it.
Oh, okay, she has stuff. I have. So a third place is a location apart from school, work, or home. It is a place to connect with your community, to engage in activities that don't involve your daily thing is that you have to do.
The common debate right now is that there was a big portion of people who before said that third places are disappearing and we need to create more of those. I found out about third spaces from a YouTube video, and the channel is primarily about anarchy, and so they were presenting third spaces as a form of rebellion and pushing against. Anarchy seemed sort of romantic, and in the context of anarchy, I liked the idea of third spaces as well, and then I didn't hear about this topic anything for a while, and then when I came back to it, like recently, like just researching for this, I found that a lot of people actually say online that we do have a lot of third spaces, and that some people just have to go to the local library. And I found that this is actually a big debate.
I think it really depends on where you live, because there are some places like rural USA, anywhere rural really, where everything is really far apart. And while maybe a lot of people there are farmers, their other place would be work, and there are, I would say, more limited designated third places. However, in a city like Hong Kong, there are clubhouses in the societies here, there are parks everywhere in Hong Kong, and there are cafes and restaurants. There are plenty of places where you can talk and meet people. However, there isn't really much of a culture of doing so.
I would agree. I think that was the point that we were sort of leading up to. I'm talking about the place I lived and I grew up in, which is Hong Kong. And in Hong Kong, what I noticed is that many people, I'm not saying everyone, a lot of people just generally tend to be lazy to go out of their comfort zone. Most of the people in our school were introverts, which honestly is quite interesting because, first of all, introvert, extrovert, it's not a very clear division, and it's weird to identify yourself as an introvert or an extrovert because it limits you as a person. But then a lot of people do that, and they use it as sort of an excuse. I'm an introvert, so I don't go out to meet people IRL.
So you're saying they should work against their natural extreme nature?
I'm saying it shouldn't be a valid excuse, that's what I'm saying. It shouldn't be an excuse.
You shouldn't let it limit yourself.
That's one point. Another point is people are just lazy.
I wouldn't say it's lazy. So in order for, let's say there's an old park in a small town, right? And that park used to be used for lots of like cultural events or just like friendship meetups and stuff, but now it's kind of empty, as most people just go to work, go home, scroll on their phones, go to bed, go to work. To revitalize that place would require a lot of effort. Not just effort, but it takes a lot of time that people don't have these days. And it takes a lot of connection that people don't have these days.
I still stand by the fact that we have a lot of excuses not to put ourselves out there. Time might be a valid reason. It's true. But then the problem is that... What's the problem? Is there a problem? Is it a problem?
Oh, that's a good question. Is it a problem that we don't have enough third spaces?
Do we need third spaces? I mean, yeah, we need them, but do we have them? Yes.
Yeah, we have them.
We have them.
We're
But
just
then,
not using them correctly.
what do you think is the correct way to use them?
You need to spend time there. Nobody's spending time there.
No one is spending time there because, first of all, we're so conditioned to be afraid of spending time with other people, and secondly, because we don't have the time to do so.
And there's the problem.
Is internet a third space? Can't say no because we need internet third spaces for people who can't go to real life third spaces. But is it a third space for?
Maybe it's a fourth space. I think it's
A
a
limbo.
fourth space.
A liminal area.
Not
It exists-
liminal.
It is liminal. It exists and it doesn't. You know, your person on who you are on the internet. It's like you don't want to know that person sometimes. Fourth space. Internet's a fourth space. I found a story years ago, and it stuck by me for a long time. I found it on Pinterest because where are we all? And then, but I think it was originally from Tumblr. And if you know the person who wrote it, or if you are the person who wrote it, I want to say like a huge thank you, because the story really, it stuck. And I was thinking about it, and I was thinking it might make a really nice short film. Anyways, the story itself: a person dies, and he goes to afterlife, and in the afterlife he meets a person, and the person introduces himself as God. And he introduces the place, which is like there are different sections in this afterlife. So you tell me, where do you want to go? For example, there's greed, and he brings him to a place where everyone can just buy and have as many things as they want. Everyone's living like in a diamond castle, in a golden castle, in a silver castle. Like everything you want, you can have. It's yours. Then he brings him over to another place, and there are like naked people chasing each other around in the forest near a lake, and he says, now this is lust. And then he brings him over to another place, and he says, well, this is gluttony, and people are like eating as much stuff as they want. And then there's anger and all the other sins. And then he's like, the concept of sins, that never existed. Choose anyone you want and you can just stay here for the rest of your life. And then the person's like, but you didn't show me one other place. You didn't show me pride. And God is like, well, yeah, no one ever asks about it. Everyone usually just stays behind in the previous places. No one ever asks about pride. It's like the forgotten one. But then you asked, I'll show. And so he brings him into a small hut. The small hut has like a chair, a small desk, a couple of desks, but like quite old and like obviously worked at. God is like, this is my workstation. This is where I create worlds. And you can just like stay here with me. And yet he stays there with God creating new worlds.
Ooh, that's so interesting.
And like this story, for some reason, it was one of the biggest plot twists, what I didn't expect coming. And it just stuck by me so hard at different levels. Like this reinterpretation of the whole Bible to make it so human. I'm not sure how to explain it. What do you think when you hear this story?
Honestly, I think so. I kind of get how pride was like God's sin, and that's why he created all these worlds. But what does pride have to do with creation?
Because you feel proud when you create.
So does all creation lead to pride?
I didn't experience all creation to know, but every single time I create something, I feel really proud of myself. And it doesn't have to be anything big. As small as it's something little, or just like a small drawing in my book, just a doodle, and it's a doodle I like, I'll feel really proud of that. The story is just there. The story is to make you think about it, and the story is just beautiful. I don't think I like it for any sort of message. I just like the fact that, God feels proud, and then there's this person who wants to create him with him, and then God will not be really lonely anymore. But honestly, it's just the simplicity of the story itself. It's how simple it is and how striking it is because of its simplicity. Nothing more. I just like it.
I think it's a good story too.
Done? you're excited you chose the topic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and you want me to start the rant.
Yeah.
Okay. So, self-objectification. When you first said it, I was like, the hell do I have to say about that? And then I started thinking, and then I realized we can't not talk about any sort of self-objectification topic without talking about some famous artists like Salvador Dali, like Stephen King, who had an alter ego, who he wrote an autobiography for. Is it an autobiography or a biography if you write it for your alter ego? Anyways, who he then killed. And then there is Andy Warhol, who also basically self-marketed himself. And so that's self-objectification. And like a lot of great people did that. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Because like when you said self-objectification, I was like, another depressing topic, right? But honestly, it doesn't seem that bad.
So for our previous filming day, we both were wearing like makeup, and I personally felt that it was really annoying that my eyelashes were really heavy, and it was really uncomfortable. So I feel like I'm more in flow right now, I'm more comfortable just because I'm not wearing much makeup. You know, it's just like chilling, you know.
You know, to be fair, my parents say that when I take off my hair, my lips immediately go like.
Maybe it's just that we're more comfortable that way, like without makeup, because you with your hair up, because you're used to that.
But on the other hand, it looks so damn good.
Makeup? Yeah. I think I wore mine like really early, so I think it's all come off by now, because I usually wear like a really thin layer.
Yeah.
Like Veronica knows, when I put on makeup, I'm like, this one? No, too much, too much. Take it off. And I'm like, yeah, that's good. And then it's just my face. Or like whoever's makeup I'm doing, yeah, it's just their face. And everyone is like, I can't tell a difference. I'm like, there's the difference. So my friend last night, I just did her makeup, and it was like the same thing where I was like, nah, I put too much on your face. Let me take it off. And it was like almost nothing on her face. But to me, it made a difference. But to her, she was like, oh, I can't even tell what you did here. And I was like, okay, fine, whatever. Be mean.
Like, why did you want to talk about it? What caused this desire to talk about the topic?
About self-objectification? I mean, the perception of yourself has never been, like, more superficial than it is now.
Remember corsets in the 19th, 18th century in Europe? Or, like, the feet wrapping in China? Or
no, I'm saying it's never been more superficial than now. So we see ourselves, like, a lot of the time we see ourselves, like, on camera or video, or maybe most people don't film themselves, but, like, they will see themselves through pictures and things like that, and they'll remember themselves through photographs. But back in the day, people remembered themselves through memories and what they thought, what they felt. Now, I think people still do that, of course, but it's way less than before, so it's a lot more shallow.
But isn't that more real in a way? Like,
that goes into a different topic. That goes into, like, how much is perceived reality, what is real, and is the perceived reality our true reality, because there is no objective reality that we can get from our eyes.
Okay. I'm not going there, I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, self-objectification, I would interpret it as quantifying yourself.
So, is it like Oscar Wilde say that, like, that nouns limit you? I'm not sure what's the correct phrasing.
Something like that, yeah. When we look at other people, we're always told to give them the benefit of the doubt and give them empathy and not expect perfection of them. But recently, everything I can hear is just about, like, there's, like, looks maxing, there's, like, self-help, there's New Year's resolutions, new goals. What about, like, understanding that you yourself are a person with infinite possibilities and an infinite number of chemical reactions happening in your whole body? And there's so many organisms just living on you, right? How can you define such an infinite thing and limit it to a brand? So, like, I was saying something along the lines that we're, like, infinite beings trying to quantify ourselves into digestible bits that other people can understand. Kind of a requirement in society to objectify yourself a little bit so that people understand who you are, because you introduce yourself. My name is Nehal. I like this. I don't like this.
But is it really self-objectification? Like, but we can also look at it, like, you're looking at it right now from the perspective of, like, oh, you have a big being, and we isolate a part of it. But what if we look at it, like, this big being as a sphere, and we don't like show a part of it. We just turn the sphere a certain angle.
No, that is interesting.
Isn't that
That's
like
true.
different?